Hello and welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of sports. And the divisional round is done. So we're going to recap every single game, finishing up with the Dallas Cowboys and San Francisco 49ers. There's a lot to talk about in this one. Tim, are you ready to go?
Oh, yes, there is. Let's run it.
Well, if you like defense and you like field goals, this was the game for you as the 49ers came out on top at home 19-12. The tail of the game was running the ball, defense, and kickers maybe making field goals or not, depending on which team you're rooting for. Christian McCaffrey did most of the grunt work on the ground for the 49ers, 10 carries, 35 yards, and a touchdown, along with 6 receptions on 8 targets for 22 yards. Elijah Mitchell also contributed with 14 carries for 51 yards. And on the other side, Ezekiel Elliott had to take most of the work because Tony Pollard suffered a fractured left fibula. It was a tough blow, but a very hard fought game on both sides.
Not necessarily the offenses that we expected out of both of these teams. Both these teams have had some great offensive showings so far this playoffs, but we also knew both of these defenses were going to be very, very good, and they showed that. For San Francisco, their defense did a very good job with making Dak uncomfortable. They ended up getting 2 interceptions out of him, and they definitely just disrupted a lot. And for the Dallas Cowboys, their pass defense definitely served better than a lot of people may have expected against the Brock Purdy led rolling 49ers. But both defensive lines certainly had their way. They made both quarterbacks uncomfortable. And that's why we saw a lot of defense out of this game.
Yeah, speaking of making both quarterbacks uncomfortable, Dak Prescott was back to his normal self with a pair of picks and just making all of the mistakes and all of the turnovers that he has been prone to make all season long. And Brock Purdy on the other side actually looked like a rookie. He was under pressure a lot, and he didn't really put the ball in harm's way, but he didn't do anything spectacular that made you go, oh, wow, this kid is super poised. This kid is making all of the plays. He was just kind of a normal rookie.
See, but one of those things that, like, in this situation, they win that game because of the fact that he didn't do anything crazy. If he tries to go, out of his comfort zone and make some crazy wild plays, it's possible they turn the ball over 1 or 2 more times, and this game is once again substantially different. So he made plays when he needed to. Obviously, it wasn't necessarily the performance you were hoping to have. But against a defense like the Cowboys, I would not be that upset.
No, I'm not upset by it. I just tend to disagree. I think he just kind of kept the ship afloat and didn't do anything to put any holes in it and sink it. I think the real reason the 49ers won this game is because they have a kicker that can actually make their kicks, and the Dallas Cowboys do not. I mean, when Brett Maher missed that first extra point, I think all Cowboys fans were thinking, oh God, here we go again. And on the other side, Robbie Gould is still perfect in postseason playoff field goals and extra points. He's really, really good. And why the Bears let him go, I will never know. They could have used him in certain situations involving kickers, which we will not mention. But yeah, back to Brock Purdy. I mean, when's the magical ride going to end? We're waiting for everything to kind of come crashing down, and it hasn't happened yet. So I'm just kind of like waiting for the other shoe to fall, because we haven't seen anything like this from a rookie before.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely close to or already in pretty unprecedented territory when it comes to a rookie quarterback in the playoffs. And his job is not going to get any easier from here on out. So he's going to have to learn a lot from this past game, and face another very, very tough defense in the Eagles coming up in their next game. But with that offense and the way that team runs, we've said it before, he doesn't necessarily need to be a superstar for that team to do relatively well.
No.
So I think if from his standpoint, it is more important that he doesn't do things, as you say, to poke holes in the ship than it is for him to make these star-studded, amazing, crazy, wild throws.
Yeah, and although Brock Purdy has taken them there, I think you just need to ride that train as long as it goes, even though you have Jimmy Garoppolo lurking in the shadows with a
I think it would
possible
be a
return.
big I think it would be a big
I
mistake
think,
for
yeah,
them to
I
throw
think it
him
would
back
too.
in after as much time that he's had off and how Brock
I
Purdy has played. Brock Purdy
completely
still
agree.
has not lost. I know that he didn't look fantastic, but he has not lost. So
No.
when that guy is the guy, all everybody's been working with him, they've got all the momentum really. Don't try to put Jimmy G back into this. Jimmy G wasn't your solution in the playoffs previously. He's not going to magically all of a sudden be a different quarterback after weeks and weeks off of the field.
Yeah. I think it's time to talk about the other side, a classic Mike McCarthy special for the Dallas Cowboys. Uh,
Yikes.
Mike McCarthy is still a moron. He always has been a gigantic moron. I don't know why people are shocked. What the hell he was doing on that last fourth down play. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, what did they think was going to happen? You line Ezekiel Elliott up as the center, have him snap it back to Dak. He got absolutely demolished. And then you throw it to the most inside guy who has no protection. And then Jimmy Ward just absolutely blew him up. I'm like, what does Mike McCarthy think? Like, it is just, oh, the brain trust
When
for the
I
Dallas Cowboys never fails. Never
when I
fails to make me
watched when I
laugh.
watched that play, I as soon as Cavante Turpin got rocked, I started dying laughing because it's
Game
like
over. Game over.
I have never seen a more nonsensical final Hail Mary lateral play. You didn't even give yourself a chance.
No.
You diagrammed the entire way where you were going and allowed the safety to just sprint straight down and blow it up immediately. But yeah, 2 years in a row now, very questionable play calls to end their seasons. This one, in a much more difficult situation than
And
last year's. But
now we're in the playoff loss stage of the Dallas Cowboys cycle. Time is a flat
here we go
circle,
again.
and they're just the gift that keeps on giving every single year. They have to reevaluate for next season. And San Francisco, it's on to Philadelphia for the NFC Championship. We can't wait to break that one down and predict it. But that's all we got for the Cowboys and the 49ers divisional round recap. If you haven't watched our other divisional round recaps, go watch all of those and all of our other stuff here on Running the Table. If you like what we do, go check out more of our stuff. And if you want more from us, like and subscribe. And until next time, we out.
Brock Putt.